Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this door, get it so that I can get the door set up where I can adjust it or shim it as required. So the way I normally do this is I'll put my foot underneath the slab, I'll tilt the door back to where I get it flush with the opening, and I'll just put one finish nail, 2-inch finish nail, just to grab the wood that's in the back. And that should be just enough to hold the door in place for a little while. That is not a permanent nail. That is, well, it is permanent because I'm not going to take it out. That's not what's actually holding the door. That's just so that we can manipulate it so that we can get the door set the way we want to with the shims and screws. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this flush with the wall. Throw a nail in there. Get that flush with the wall. Throw a nail in there. Get this flush with my wall. Throw a nail in there. Now I can go ahead and throw my shims. I see where my slippers or sleepers are, or my blocks in the stone, and I could carry on with the rest of the installation. Now I could do my maneuvers if I need to bring the door out or in or push it up. These finish nails are soft enough so that you can make your adjustments. Once you find your adjustments and you find that the door is level, plumb, and square, you lock it in place and move on. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we see that our cleat is here in between the brick. We're going to run a screw right here behind the seal of the door. We're going to go through the jamb, through our shims, and into the cleat in the back. I like using these 3 1/8 GRK trim head screws because the profile is small and they hide really well. Okay, now make sure that we haven't moved. We are almost perfect. We're about 1/8 of an inch off. So I'm going to cheat it from the bottom because I'm already flush. Actually, I need to bring it in. Let it go. There we go. Yeah, I need to bring it more towards the inside just a little bit. Check it again. Now that is a very level, plumb, square door. Okay. Now that we already have that set, we're gonna put our screws in the middle and at the bottom right into the wooden cleats. We're gonna put in our shims first, and then use the 3 1/8 screws to grab it. don't always have the luxury of having wooden cleats already inside the brick. So sometimes what you have to do is you're gonna have to put your tap con straight in there. And if you can't grab the brick from there, then you'll have to go through the thick part of the jamb to grab whatever good brick that you can. Here we have the luxury of having wooden cleats, and we can use our shims. I'm still gonna put a long screw through the jamb on the 3 points because I don't just want 3 screws holding it. We're gonna actually have 6, 2, 4, 6 screws holding this. Over here, we also don't have the luxury of just throwing a screw into the hinge, because sometimes you could just throw a screw into the hinges on the middle, top, and bottom, but there's no wood back there to grab. So even if I were to throw a 3-inch screw, there's nothing there to grab this door well. So that's why we're running the screws into the cleat behind the insulation, or behind the weather strip, and we're going to put another one through the thick part of the jamb. Now DAP makes a caulking that is almost the exact same color as the Feather River jamb, and that's what we're going to use when we caulk this up. And we can actually fill in these holes with that DAP caulking, and it's a water base, so it cleans up with water, no problem. Big fan of these GRK trim head screws. Okay, this side of the door is set. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna close our door. Check the top, and the top is perfect. It is an even spacing from the hinge side to the handle side. Our reveal is good here from the top to the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing that we did on the hinge side. We're gonna do over here on the handle side. Okay, so we got our hinge side set. Now we're gonna set our handle side. We're gonna do the same concept here. We're gonna throw the level on there. And this level is pretty much spot on. So what I'm gonna do is I already got the shim set in place right here in the cleat. I'm gonna throw a trim head in there. Okay. And then from the outside, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the door, and I'm gonna look, and I'm gonna make sure that this door makes contact from the very bottom and the very top. And I'm gonna follow the gap, and I wanna see an even gap, or an even spacing where the door meets the seal. And I wanna make sure that when I close it, that it touches the bottom and the top at the same time. If it doesn't, then what I can do from this point is I just give it a little kick on the inside or the outside. And what that does is that changes the jamb, whether in or out, so that when the door closes, it makes that seal. Sometimes you're gonna need to cheat it just a little bit, because what's important here is you wanna make sure that you have a good seal at this point. So we know that that side's level, it's squared. And when I close this, at the very bottom, it makes contact before it makes contact at the top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kick this guy out just a little bit, and I'm gonna check it again. When I close the door, it's perfect. So the spacing from the top to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top, when I close the door, it makes contact with the seal. And that's what we want to do. Once we find that, then we lock it into place using shims and trim head screws. Time. It's good. It's really good. And screws are inside. throw it in right there. Okay. And then we're gonna hide one here inside. Okay. Then I'm gonna close my door, and then from the inside, I'm gonna make sure that the gap is the same where the door meets the jamb. I want an even space from the top to the bottom as well. I'm just gonna pull it out just a little bit. Okay, we're good to go. We're gonna do the same thing at the bottom. Good. All right. That's it. The rest is making it look pretty. All right, door set, level plumb square, shimmed in place, locked to how we want it to do. Next, we need to insulate the door. So I like using this quad foam, door and window foam. It actually expands pretty well, but it doesn't bow out the door frame. It won't change your installation like some other foams. The high expanding foams, don't use them. You want something that specifically says door and window foam. The quad foam is actually pretty good because it doesn't stick. Or it doesn't make it's easy to peel off if you get it on your door or if you get it somewhere else. Not nearly as bad as the great stuff, man. That stuff ruins doors. So get yourself a gun if you're gonna be doing this on the regular. If you're not, then these door and window foam cans, they come with their own straw. You just go ahead and foam that in place. You want to go ahead and get this all the way up and around, and then do the top as well. You don't have to worry about the bottom because we already put a bunch of caulking on the sill. And you do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so now we're going to unbox our jamb extension kit. Like I said, when you purchase these jamb extension kits, make sure it's from the same brand as the door you're installing. This one already comes pre-primed out the box to match the existing jamb on the Feather River door. So first thing we're going to install is we're going to install the sill plate, the sill extension plate. What we have to do is cut this sill extension plate to the same width as the sill that's there right now. So might as well just grab the tape measure, measure it out, mark it, cut the sill plate. Sill plate's 34 inches, and when it comes out the box, these come at 36. So we're just gonna mark this at 34 inches, and then we're gonna put caulking across the bottom, caulking where they connect. When we cut it, then we'll go ahead and install the sill plate. So what I'm gonna do first, a little bit of caulking on the bottom of this sill plate. Across the bottom. This guy locks right in place. rubber mallet. Go. Okay. There we go. That is very nice. Good. It's a good sill extension. Okay. Nice and clean. Okay. Now, I'm gonna prep this. A little bit of caulking down here for the jamb extension. A little bit of caulking down there. And then we already pre-cut our jamb extension for the left and the right to the same height of 81 3/4. So we're gonna just put a little bit of caulking right here on the back side. We're gonna do it to the left and right.